Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I'm your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, your comedian / meteorologist, and today I'm also your comedian Columbist. Yay! I haven't played anything for you guys. I don't really play the hand piano the way that people normally play instruments. I doodle around. I fuck around with it. I have fun, and I never play the same song twice. I just play what vibes need to be expressed in the moment. This is a instrument of vibrational communication, and that's the little ditty that my thumbs and this board wanted to play for you tonight. So, thank you so much to my mom who got this for me for my birthday last year. She said she didn't know why she wanted to get it for me. It just felt right. And I'd never wanted one before. She got it for me, and I was like, oh, how have I not had this my entire life? This is the amount of this is the amount of like piano type fuckery that I want to play with. I love this very much. I'm shocked I haven't whipped it out on stream before tonight. But I didn't. This is the first time I've gotten to play this, and I'm happy I got to share it with you. Please don't mind the clothing strewn about everywhere. I don't know if I've updated y'all, but I am going on a trip to New York City this weekend. So I've never been before. I don't know what it's going to be like. I'm just bringing all my cute little shorts and clothings, and this is basically, it's making me do my laundry, which is something we all need. But I'm going to go visit my best friend, and see Dorian Electra and see all kinds of museums and parks and beautiful things. And I'm going to eat bagels. It's going to be great. But unfortunately, that means I won't be able to do a real live stream setup from mobile. I don't have the funds to move my station with me at this current juncture. And I will be able to give y'all updates on my YouTube community page, and I'll try to be tweeting as well, but I don't really care about Twitter. I will probably be posting more on my YouTube community page, but I will be out of town while a bunch of amazing weather is going to happen. So I can't wait to have a recap for you, but I'm just going to be sharing other people's updates and posting some text updates in the meantime while I have a little bit of a lull on the daily streaming here. But speaking of the daily streaming, let's go ahead and share my screen so that I can talk about today's just today's weather in general. I'm going to start with the solar weather because it's a little bit less complicated than everything else going on. I'm going to share I'm going to share the window for now. And then I'm going to share a different window when I go to share. I've downloaded the Schumann Resonances app, and so I will be giving a Schumann Resonance update today, but I won't be interpreting that very much. I'm just going to start sharing that. Okay, so as we can see, really low X-ray flux today. just and yesterday and the day before that. I just really, can we go even larger? No, we can't go larger than 3 days on this particular time scale. But look at this. We are below C-class territory. We're no longer just dipping into B-class territory. We are hovering into B-class territory, which is really low X-ray flux from my observations of what it's like on this year. At this current juncture in sun cycle 25, we also have a pretty mildly sun right now. Everything except for 3599 is in a alpha pattern, and 3599 is in an alpha beta, or a beta gamma, excuse me, tongue-tied, formation. 3595 has been downgraded back down to a beta type. So everybody is either an alpha or a beta type eruption, right? Or eruption. Getting tongue-tied. Type of sunspot region right now. Obviously got a lot of activity, but nothing eruptive looking. Solar proton flux is way down. X-ray flux is way down. Let's take a look at our far side imagery, though, because it looks like we're about to have some really active regions rotate into Earth view. Currently, we're in that lull, the calm before the storm. I feel like this weekend, this new moon weekend, is going to be such a big weather weekend, but unfortunately, I'll be out there living the weather. Y'all know that every choice you make and every action you take and every emotion you feel contributes to the weather, right? Right? Okay. I don't know if I've gotten that propaganda across to y'all enough, but everything you do is weather control. Sorry, we all control the weather together, and you can't control it fully because you can never control everyone fully. Got some fast solar wind now, and the density, the plasma density, is looking lower. That would make sense with the fast solar wind. That, like, the other day when I was talking about how we had like Saturday night, I got on here and we had really extremely low density and really fast solar wind. That's when we had a really elevated electron flux into the Earth, and that's also when we had strongly southward component to the negative, to the magnetic field. Here is our magnetometers in Europe and in Canada. Today we had a few little spikes, but nothing too severe. Deflection, X component. We're in the waning crescent phase of the moon. Hemispheric power is increasing right now. Not much else to report. Let's see some imagery. I think that we are about to see some really active solar regions rotate into view, but right. And also, I don't know, I feel like 3599 and 3600 just want to be part of one solar group. Want to be part of one big sunspot region. Let's look at this on the 193 wavelength. Shout out to everybody who watches these. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I love you all. You've been reaching out to me in real life to say that you watch this, and thank you so much to my professors and my friends, and I mean, I'm not actively, but like my people who taught me, and all my supporters. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. It would be awesome if y'all commented on my YouTube video. That would be really helpful. If you comment on the YouTube video, then everyone knows that you watched it and not just me. But thank you so much for your support. Look at this little heart shape here. That's how I feel about all of you guys. All these heart shapes, all these counter clockwise and counterclockwise rotation cells that tend to form together and make these little heart hands. I see them coming together and doing little heart hands. That's how I feel about you guys. Thank you for being here. Let's see. I want to see just the sunspot regions. Okay, I guess I can see how they're two different regions, but like it looks like this should be swirling into one storm, doesn't it? I know the sun is trying to tell us so many things that like we don't understand, but I'm still gonna pretend to guess at it. You see 3595 rotating off of Earth view right there. We've got these like, they almost look like the tropics of the sun. You know how we have the tropics at the 30 degrees latitudes outside of longitudes. Anyway, the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, like 30 degrees outside the equator, it looks like they have those on the sun too. I'm not an expert in solar weather, so I'm just speculating, but it looks like we've got tropics there too, which is an interesting phenomenon. I wonder if that's means anything. Stop giving me ads for banks. Everybody knows I don't have money. I know how to finesse it, but I don't have it. All right. Looking pretty bubbly but quiet. Like this is a pot of boiling water that is not quite ready to salt yet. You know how you want to salt your boiling water because salt makes the water have a higher boiling temperature. So you don't want to salt the water until most of the pot is at a boil and it can keep itself going and mixing thermally really well and get the convection inside going still. This is like a pot of boiling water that's just got like the little simmering steam piles, those vertical water vapor bubble distribution channels that haven't started mixing horizontally yet. And you don't want to salt your water then, because then you run out of it. It just takes longer to boil. So this is what I'm saying is this is a pot that's like not quite over the hill of boiling yet. So let's take it down to the well, first of all, while I'm out here at the sun, let's go ahead and take a look at our planets, our planetary weather for today. Got a nice kite formation if you include Black Moon Lilith in that. We are in a Mars day in a sun hour. I actually started the broadcast in a Mars day and a Mars hour. So we've got the moon in Capricorn making a nice trine to Uranus in Taurus, and we are gearing up for the Jupiter conjunct Uranus transit that we're going to get on April 20th of this year. 420 is going to blow us all away. It's going to be wild. Not saying great, just saying wild. And that is currently sextile to the sun at 16 degrees of Pisces. So this is a nice, happy place for the moon, sun, and Uranus to be. I feel like things are really changing, but we feel good about it. We feel good about it in our identity, in our body, in our soul. But that is not to say that everything is easy, because we are approaching a square of Mars and Uranus between, like we're not just in feminine signs. We are still getting the fire lit under our butts by the masculine sign of Aquarius, the air sign being masculine sign and earth and water signs being feminine. We are still feeling the pressure of this new era of Pluto and Aquarius trying to drag us kicking and screaming into the 21st century. We're also feeling the pressure of that just past Venus and Mars conjunction. And I keep forgetting to mention that the Venus and Mars conjunction, that was the same day as those 3 X-class flares. So I feel like we may not, I don't know, if planetary transits have anything to do with the releasing of solar energy into the interplanetary magnetic field, then we would be waiting for a more major transit to come up for the next one. For our next bout of activity, and we're kind of in a lull stage right now. But that is making its own sextile to where the North Node and Chiron are conjunct in Aries. And now we've got Chiron has finally overtaken the North Node in Aries, and Chiron is the asteroid that is archetypally the wounded healer, Chiron, that myth. We are now still in a conjunction of Saturn and Sun, as well as Sun and Mercury, and kind of in a loose conjunction there, and Mercury conjunct to Neptune. So have fun trying to communicate anything while Mercury is conjunct Neptune. If you're communicating to people on a plane that is not physical, you're going to have a great time communicating, I think. But if you are trying to communicate through words and talking and language and anything that current society respects as valid forms of communication, then you're going to have a bad time. Like, not a bad time, not like a Mercury retrograde time. I'm not going to say it. No, not going to say it like that. But like, dreams are telling you all you need to know right now. Vibes are telling you all you need to know right now. That's the opposite of how Virgo likes to communicate, and Mercury is more exalted, more happy in Virgo and less happy in Pisces. But I feel like if you're trying to communicate on the vibe level, a Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces is probably going to communicate way more than you even intend to communicate, but that's how things work on that level. So, oh well. Let's move on to, I want to share the Schumann resonances with you. Okay. Can I do this? I'm going to call it up. Call it up. Schumann resonance app. Where are you at? Oh, it got stuck halfway over on my screen. Okay. Is it showing on stream? There we go. Oh. Not make it weird. Okay. Okay. So we can see here that oh, this is funny. I want to be on a different side. Okay. Can't. Okay. It's not what I want. That is not what I want at all. I don't know how to make this work. Okay. Here we are looking at the Schumann resonance data out of Cumiana, Italy. We are looking at today. We saw quite a bit of energy come into our field, our electronic, our electromagnetic field, our E field. Saw quite a bit of energy coming in today around right around the time that, well, this doesn't go back far enough. Right around the time of going from March 5th to March 6th at the international dateline time. So it was around 8 p.m., 7 p.m. here where I am. But we saw a slight burst. We also saw another, let's take a look at the spectrogram real quick. This is what I'm talking about. Right here when we went from the 5th to the 6th. On the 4th, we saw an increase in power in the Schumann resonances as well across some of the lower modes. But here as we went from the 5th to the 6th, like wherever you were around 8 o'clock tonight, there was a lot of communication happening. Whatever you were talking about or to or with or doing, that is something that was aligned with some way that the universe is going tonight. Really hard to hold a lot of that energy sometimes because it comes in these really high octaves. Like this is in mode 6. This is a really weird way to get power. You see these vertical spikes, and sometimes this can mean thunderstorms, but as we are going to see, that I don't think there's a thunderstorm passing through Tom's Gresham right now. This is a beautiful amount of energy, and also we're seeing right between the 10 and 12 hertz line. This is really between mode 2 and 3. 11 hertz. We're looking at 11 hertz. 11, 11, 11, 11 magic happening right now. The amplitude we can see spiked a little bit on the 4th, and then again today at right as we went from the 5th to the 6th. So in the evening time on the 5th for people west of the international date line. The frequencies of each mode have been changing a bit. We've got, where's that one that's wants to be at 11? No, modes 1, 2, 3, and 4 are not really it's really between mode 1 and 2 that we got that burst. We're sitting pretty low on mode 4, sitting moderately high on mode 3, excuse me. And that Q factor also spiking at the time, spiking for the higher frequencies, but not the Q1. So currently looking at some slightly elevated Schumann resonance activity that's been compared to that's compared, I mean, in the last half hour, not much, but like 4 hours ago, well, 3 hours ago, lot going on there. So I want to bring back this other screen. How did that click out? Whoops. Sorry, y'all. This is my first night switching between different apps on this live stream. Speaking of apps, let's go back down through the solar system and take a look at our global satellite radar tonight. Global satellite radar. That sounds like oxymoron, but I mean satellite combined with radar. Remember, satellite's the one that are satellites of the Earth, and radar's the ones that we can see from the Earth that we put down here on the ground. Okay, so a lot of heavy precipitation all throughout the East Coast tonight. From Cuba to Tampa to Atlanta, we got that nice tropical pipeline of air. Do you see this in the wind streams that we're showing here? We've got both. Earlier today, we had this really strong west to east wind stream from the tropics. And then now we've got wind stream from the other tropics. The other side from the Pacific tropics was how we started the day's moisture source. And from the Atlantic tropics is how we are ending today's water source. So we are just in no shortage of conductive magnetic medium here in the East Coast. The storms are storming. Not quite here in the mountains yet, but it's just a little bit windy and rainy all around the entire place. And again, I talk so much about this, but place really does shape storms a lot on the lower level. And you can kind of see how elevation is really playing a factor in where we're getting the storm regions here. Then we're getting a lot of that tropical moisture continuing on up the East Coast into the New England area. We're still seeing a lot of snow out west in Montana, Idaho, Nevada, and Utah. Seeing a lot of some pretty heavy snow in places. Moderate snow over here in the Dakotas as well as in Minnesota. Finally, a little bit of a break for California, just a moderate break though, because they are covered in snow right now, snow and waterlogged, and this is just a brief interlude for them. Still, unfortunately, not many storms made it over the wildfire areas. What are you gonna do? Got a beautiful storm happening up here. Oh, I had to pop up. Beautiful storm happening up here in Alaska. In this again, the land shapes the storms, curving in, hugging the area where there's less friction. The ocean, there's less friction for the air moving than if it's moving over land, and it can just whip itself up into a nice little swirl here. In the what's the name of this bay or harbor? What do we call this? Northern Pacific armpit. Okay, it doesn't want to pop up, but I'm sure there's a name for that. Following the Aleutians out here, we see, it's not like there's no storms in Russia. There's obviously some weather going on, but I still think that the elevated activity we saw from the Tomsk station in the Schumann resonances is related to global power changes and not just local storms, because I don't see anything whipping itself into too much of a frenzy there. Continuing to have clear weather in India and Pakistan, and then the other side of the Himalayas, we are seeing some higher elevation snow and rain. Not really as much rain, just clouds and snow. Continuing to see some activity here in the Indian Ocean, around Madagascar. Our little swirly boys that were here near the earthquake zone have swirled off in a different direction. Got another wildfire in South Africa too. That's interesting. And looking at the, beautiful. Okay, looking at that gorgeous region of where we really need to keep our rainforests alive, it still looks like there is land spawning their own storms. Whenever an air mass moves over a place and the one spot just becomes like a chimney spout, like you can see the storm spawning there, that's a good sign that there is an area making its own convective conditions and humid energy and temperature different temperatures. Basically, what is it? Are we calling this? Okay, so we've got an volcanic eruption and a wildfire in the Galapagos Islands. No relation. Nothing to do with each other at all. Totally not suspecting that wildfires have anything to do with volcanoes. Nope, that's totally not what we're doing on this channel. We're not saying that wildfires can be sparked by cracks in the ground where heat escapes onto dry land. That's dumb. That would be, why would you think that? I would never say that. So let's continue from looking at our wildfires to moving into looking at our earthquakes and volcanoes. I wouldn't say that. Who would say that? That's really dumb. News. Gareloi, Aleutian Islands downgraded to green. All right, because we haven't seen much activity from them, honestly. They really want me to buy. Can you tell that I'm building a speaker? These targeted ads are just, if I had anything embarrassing, I would never put all these targeted ads here, but I don't care what y'all see. I'm bearing my soul to you. Me, I want to know how to make a speaker. Okay. This is Gorello volcano, the one that got downgraded today. Take a look at satellite image of Popo. Pretty clear looking. Explosive activity continues at Merapi. Popo, explosive continued. Fuego and Reventador continuing activity. Let's take a look at, excuse me, Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Got a beautiful image of Samiro right there. Beautiful. Image of Merapi volcano. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, this is a good one of Fernandina. Now that is a satellite of an erupting volcano if I ever saw one. Look at the beautiful plume of smoke filing out into the atmosphere in a different way than the water clouds will file out and dissipate, because it's got a different viscosity as compared to the bulk air. Water clouds have a different wave-like behavior because they have a different viscosity in comparison to the bulk air than what an ash cloud would be. Meaning the whirls are different. Big whirls create little whirls, la 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 la, so on to viscosity. The really dry, hot air ash plumes that come out of a volcano are going to behave different under the same atmospheric conditions than they're going to behave differently than a water cloud or a moisture cloud. Like the think of breathing in ash and breathing in steam. Like it behaves different in your lungs. The air feels that too when it's blowing the ash around. So this is how you can see that the way this cloud is scattering is a very dry, hot one. It's petering out. Oh, look at this. Okay, I think this is also on Ferdinandina. Lenticular cloud illuminated by the radiant summit lava pond. That looks so badass. Okay, this is what I've talked about before. The lenticular cloud is the cloud that is the doorframe tap cloud, where the air goes up over the mountain and pops into the area where it could possibly form a cloud, and then slides back down the other side of the mountain back into the area where it doesn't form a cloud anymore. It's going boop and hitting the door frame. Like, you know, when people jump up and tap the door frame while they walk through a door, it's kind of like that. Like the air jumps up over the mountain, forms a little cloud only there because that's the only area where it's in the conditions where that. An air parcel could always be a cloud. It just depends on what the other things going on around it are. So if you take the same amount of air molecules and water molecules in this little air parcel and bring it to the top of a mountain, then you're in a cold enough or different enough pressure zone where that cloud can condense into, that little pocket of air can condense into a cloud. It's called adiabatic lift, and then expansion and compression. So when it gets up to that cold lower pressure, it expands and it can condense. It cools down into a cloud. And then when it can slide down the other side of the mountain, the air parcel no longer is in those conditions. So what the shape of the lenticular cloud is showing you where air parcels have moved into the cloud formation zone for their type of air and where it's not in there. So a lenticular cloud over a volcano, it's called a lenticular cloud because it looks like a lens, like a contact lens. It looks like a lens, a little hat on top of the cloud, or a little cloud hat on top of the mountain. And when the mountain has a hat on that's glowing, You get to see this beautiful illumination of the entire mountain. It looks like the whole mountain is glowing because the radiant, well, it's radiant heat, but it's also uh, uh, the light radiating from the lava on the summit of the mountain goes up, and it's like a umbrella light. It's like that big diffused fashion photography light, like the you ever do picture day at school and they have those lights that like the light doesn't shine at you, it shines at an umbrella facing you. That's the kind of lighting anything on this mountain is getting right now. It's getting that like gorgeous diffused radiant. Oh, I can't. I wish I was there. That is so pretty. That light is like golden hour, but for the earth. Just the earth creating its own sun, golden hour in this little peak. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Fernandina, you're doing a great job. Several lava flows flanking out of here. No, that's not. Don't put me out of my update. Fernandina still doing beautifully. Lava has not made it to the ocean yet. We don't know if it will, but it's continued to explode, so it might. But if it does that, it will form abundant steam gas emissions. Low gas and steam emissions with no ash traces have been dispersed southwest. Sulfur dioxide emissions reached this on March 3rd. Let's go ahead and look at Null Earth to take a look at those sulfur dioxide emissions. I do skip Null Earth a lot because I've been liking Zoom Earth for having the radar and satellite imagery displayed on it, but okay. So that's our temperatures for today, by the way. Let's take a look out here in the Galapagos and take a look at, we'll look at chemicals, SO2. Excuse me. That can't be right. Let me look at sulfur dioxide surface mass is not that high here. That's fascinating to me. I thought we would see a nice stream of it. Perhaps it's just doldruming out right here. I don't know. But also sulfur dioxide is released by farming cities and coal burning fire plants. So power plants. So don't really know what to tell you there. Thought I would see more of something. Thought I'd see more something. Let's look at aerosols. Having higher aerosols. What about organic matter? Oh yeah, this is the one where you can see the aerosols from the forests, which the Blue Ridges are named after. Okay, I'm getting distracted by this, but let's look at oceans. What do our currents look like? This is a beautiful view. Beautiful view of all the different main conveyor belt currents and gyres that are out here in the oceans. Here in the Galapagos, they've got their own really strong currents going on. This is part of the El Nino Southern Oscillation. We will be able to see, well, let me put on sea surface temperatures. Well, it's a lower one, so sea surface temperatures aren't really going to show you much, but let's turn on sea surface temperature and all anomalies. Where's the hot and cold? You can see they go boop, 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 boop. Okay. Actually getting a lot of cold water around the Galapagos right now. So that's interesting that we're getting the eruption right now there. Continuing to see a really sharp gradient, a really hard differential between cooler than normal and warmer than normal out here in the Atlantic. I'm not an oceanographer. I don't know what that's about, but it's very interesting to see such contrasting. Whatever's backflowing is really cold, and what's flowing out is taking all this Gulf of Mexico heat into the northern Atlantic. Let's see. Oh, it's interesting that we get to see surface temperature anomalies over here too. Warmer than usual, where we've seen those earthquakes spreading out. Warmer than usual here, and warmer and colder than usual here in Japan and off the coast of China and the US. Why are we having such colder than usual sea surface temperatures? I don't know. Been a lot of talk about the North Pole lately, about the magnetic pole and where it's going, and is the northern magnetic pole shifting to be over the Gokul Ridge? Are we going to see a giant supervolcano erupt out of northern Russia, and then there will be a new land war over the new land? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll see that. It will be very interesting to see that. Let's go ahead and take a look at, well, I haven't done this in a long time. Let's see what the SPC surface fronts WPC analysis are. Yeah, seeing a lot of weird little guys popping off here. Actually, I want to take a look at, I don't usually go to tropical tidbits on here, but let's take a look at tropical tidbits because they're my favorite one for satellite imagery. I want to take a look at something that was really weird over Texas and Louisiana today. Start with visible shortwave. Okay. So this is the region that I want to look at as little funky. This is obviously, you know, some storming. We had a lot of sideways blowing air from the Pacific and over the Gulf of Mexico, blowing all this moisture and convection juice, all this rain juice up into the East Coast. But take a look at, maybe it'll show on True Color. I think I need to go back a few hours to be able to see it. But there was a weird blossoming of like no clouds over East Texas, the Arklatex region earlier in the day that like is now feeding into this storm as kind of a dry line effect. Do they have that marked? Yeah, they have that marked. Here's the dry line effect that I was talking about. And this would be your warm front, cold fronts, stationary fronts coming in. And also another little dry line. We're supposed to see this swirl into the New England area, but I mean, we're not going to be, it's not going to be that bad. This is the area that we were looking for some severe, I mean, like, well, we have some major cape going on here. There's definitely convective available potential energy for sure. But is there moisture? There's moisture. I don't know why this isn't whipping itself into more of a frenzy yet. I feel like that whole area today was really confusing me. Because we had tons of precipitation up here and over here, but or we will have precipitation up there. That's a forecast. But look at this. The dearth of wind direction. There's no wind. When a station observation looks like this, that means no wind. The wind barbs are the tails, and weird. So weird. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe... Is this going to tell me anything? No. I'm just clicking on stuff to see what pops out as like... It's just a dead zone right here today. Like a really weird void that is probably going to give birth to some crazy weather tomorrow, I bet. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at our earthquakes for the day. Let's take a look at the earthquakes. What earthquakes can we find? This is a song about the earthquakes. I'll find it all along this rhyme. I will find the earthquakes if you report them to me. I will find the earthquakes emerging from the depths of the seas. I don't know. Just kind of singing. Ooh. Oh, is that was a fake one. Okay. Sorry, we have no imagery here. Sorry, we have no imagery here in the South Sandwich Islands. Nothing's happening there. What? You had imagery there yesterday. Why don't you have imagery there today? That make it make sense. That don't make no sense to me. Wow. Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's low. Okay, saw some middle shallow range 4.2 to 4.9s in South America. We saw some increasing activity around Puerto Rico, and that it's just has not quieted down. I feel like since January 6th is when I noticed that it was beginning of January. It's just always popping off over there. Got another swarm of earthquakes in West Texas and continued motion into the heart of the United States here. Continued earthquakes here in northern Nevada at 3.8 magnitude at 9.8 kilometers depth. Few fractaling down fracture zone tremors and low-level quakes going around both sides of the valley, or the Death Valley in California, also swarming around San Diego's, and one off the coast of Los Angeles. I'm not going to talk about what's there. It's just a place. Here in the Yukon territory, we saw 3.3, continued micro swarms at all shallow depths, in Alaska and in the Aleutians. I think that's why they downgraded that one volcano, because we just continue to see earthquakes in Alaska and they do nothing. Well, if we can drag and drop, if we can move the map, we can see more. If we could move the map, we could see more. I'm pretty sure we're going to see another deep quake in the Fiji region. Okay. Don't want to show me the money. Okay, want to show me anything? Okay, there we go. Only one earthquake off the coast of Japan today, a 4.4 at 29 kilometers depth, so barely in that shallow range color coding still. Saw bigger earthquakes in China, Xinjiang and Kyrgyzstan border region got 5.1s at 5.1 and a 4.5 at 10 kilometers depth. Also one here in the Qinghai region of China. Here in southern Iran, we're also seeing a 5.1. And again, third day in a row, we're seeing this triangle, this Greek, a real, what is the sea called between Greece and Turkey? It's not the Bosporus. My dad is at home shouting that. I know he is. The Aegean Sea, that's what it's called. We got a triangular formation around the Aegean Sea of 4.2, 3, and 3 at 10 kilometers depth. This one went a little further into the land than the other two. So first was this one, then this one, then this one. So they're going in a counterclockwise circular motion around the Aegean Sea. We had one here in southern Iran today. Did we have any in the Arabian Sea today? No. Nothing in the Arabian Sea today, but we have been seeing them all from the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden to the Arabian Sea. 5.2 off the coast of southern Sumatra, just southeast of Java, Indonesia, or southwest, excuse me. And then all along the Philippines, we've seen some smaller, let's see, this would be 4.36, 4.3, 4.7, some mid-range 4s at a mid-range depth of shallowness here in the Philippines. So pretty normal, pretty typical. We do see another, okay, now they want to give me imagery for the South Sandwich Islands. We saw a 4.9 at 10 kilometers. No, sorry, I'm just so used to saying that. 4.9 at 27.025 kilometers depth here in the South Sandwich Islands. Okay, here in the Fiji region, we are going to see, so we had a 35 kilometer depth, 5.3 near Tonga. So that is actually pretty shallow for this region. That seems to be a bubbling forth of earthquakes. We've also got deep quakes here in the, you remember how I keep talking about how this plate boundary is shaped like a crashing wave? Do you see it? Do you see how this looks like a crashing wave? This is a wave moving. This is a swirling. This is a vortex around Fiji, and we are upwelling momentum from deep within the earth at these deep quakes. That's my personal opinion of what we're seeing here. My personal opinion is that this counterclockwise motion is popping things up from the ground. But I don't know if anybody else agrees with me on that scientifically. I'm just putting this out there as a little broadcast so that somebody can start a discussion, more activity in Hawaii today, in the 1, 2, and 3 regions. So looking pretty healthy there. Other than that, I think that is where I want to end it on our earthquake update. No, I don't, because look at this. Out here on the North Atlantic Ridge, the Rearcast Ridge, we got a 4.8 at 10 kilometers depth. That is something we are waiting to see happen more often for another Iceland eruption. Again, let's just check, but I think that we are still seeing no news out of Iceland. We saw that dike forming. Increased chance of eruption. This whole line along the ridge keeps seeing activity, but looks like the periodic swelling and bursting of earthquake activity has gone down. Updated March 5th. Weather conditions could affect the IMO's monitor oh, don't listen. Monitoring system. The volume of magma has continued to increase, which could result in a new dike propagation and or volcanic eruption in the coming days. Volcanic eruption could start with very little warning, probably between Mount Storeskogafell and Mount Hagafell. Slightly more activity at Fagradalsfjall, where around 20 earthquakes have been detected in the last 24 hours. This is where we saw a dike formation. This little square indicates where they started measuring for dike formation. And then this is our continuing, our rebounding inflation after that dike formation. So are you guys so proud of me looking like I do, wearing this little hat and this little cutoff t-shirt and not making dike jokes about dike formations? It's so challenging to not make dike jokes, but I will do it for the good of the team. Yeah, still in elevated hazard levels here. Funny that now Zone 7 is the only safe one, when it was the most recently added. Zone 3 still not looking great, so don't try to get to Grindavik, but if you're already there, you're fine. Still haven't closed the Blue Lagoon the whole time either. Still using Svartsengi to make power too. So we love that. We love to see it. I'm going to go ahead and try to close this stream out with a little cosmic weather reading from the tarot, from the tarot cards. What are we saying, thinking, feeling, hearing from our larger planes? What are we getting? What's the weather like in the cosmos that we can't tell with our modern science? What do we have to use magic to detect still? That's the question I'm answering with that. And again, hello to my one viewer who's here. I'm so glad that you're here. I have laundry everywhere because I will not be broadcasting for the next few nights, because I am going to go visit my friend and I won't be able to bring my equipment with me. So, yeah, I'll have so many stories and so much to say after that, but there's also going to be so much weather that happens over the next few days that I don't even... It's going to be great. It's going to be great, but there's going to be a lot of weather going on that I won't get to broadcast to you about. So don't forget to check the YouTube comments, or not the comments, the community page, because that's where I'm going to be posting while I can't do video updates. Okay, so what is the current weather? I feel like I can't pull a card if I've seen what it is, so. Okay, so we have drawn the Four of Wands in reversed. Again, the Knight of Cups upright, and the Queen of Cups reversed. So, where to begin? Okay. This gives me a little bit of a story of upheaval, of the stability in the home space, a little bit of upheaval in the way that energy flows, the way that we heat and sustain the home. I'm gonna look up okay. So maybe it's a celebration. Some people say celebration. I don't know. I'm getting upright is celebration externally and reversed is internally. But it could be I don't know. I always think of the Four of Wands as like four poles holding things up, and this is taking down the tent. Maybe we're done with the camping trip and we can put it back away again. Knight of Cups upright. We are about to become aware of so many more emotions that have been just stored in the body for so long. They're about to be in motion, ready to message away. Emotion into action, putting our money where our heart is. We're really doing it this time, guys. It's really happening this time. The thing that we're celebrating personally, we're really doing it. It's actually happening. Let's go. It's go time. But don't be too go, because don't forget that the Queen of Cups reversed. We all have to look inward and know when to say and when not to say emotions, when to have deep dwelling in the dark mystic. There's a lot of black in this card. There's a lot of geometric symbolism in this card, and sitting on top of, the Queen is sitting on top of a pebble beach, like a stones. There's a lot going on here that our work with crystals has to do with. There's a lot going on with our work with geometry and sacred symbols, and the dark side of emotion going on. But I feel like this is not coming out to the surface for everyone. This is something surfacing inwardly for you. Your emotions are your own responsibility and power. They're not just like a burden for you. They're like a bag of coal that you have been given to fuel your engine. But if you think you just have to carry around this bag of coal all the time, you're going to think of it as a burden. But if you figure out how to use those emotions as fuel for your engine, oh man, you're so powerful. But there is something a little bit unstable, a little bit building your throne right next to the shore about fueling everything out of emotion all the time. Like you can't, when you burn the emotion, it goes away. Like you can't, it's not a sustainable resource. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling like I want to look up interpretations for these right now, because this card is almost telling me I need to search within for the interpretations of these. And what's coming up right now is what is about to fuel the journey of being a queen. This is also a very sassy queen. This is a very shady queen. The Queen of Cups reversed is a very shady queen. And let's just be aware of where we're throwing shade and where we're throwing light out into the world, because you can't be a light without throwing a little shade, and you can't throw shade without having some spark of divinity. So it is important to recognize the power that people have with their negativity. If they have only negativity, that's going to feel like you want to implode and your heart is sinking into its own black hole. But if you have a nice balance of maybe some fire energies, like a 4 energy of fire, a 4 of wands maybe, then you'd have a little bit more of a stable fire to build your hearth around. Like you can build your home around this fire, not one that is going to burn the house down. Okay, I hope that made sense. Getting an instinct to pull a card from my positive affirmation deck. So I do want to, so we did just pull the 4 of wands reversed, and we're looking at that hearthstone energy. Knight of Cups upright, message coming into use and action, and the Queen of Cups reversed, which I don't draw her very much. So somebody out there, if you're the Queen of Cups person, tell me more, because I'm trying to figure out that. I don't know that energy. It's just giving me shady queen vibes right now. And she also, but Kind of need that to make the world go round. But also an 8 giving me some sort of octagonal polyhedron. Her chalice is very interestingly shaped, is all I'm saying. So let's get a yeah. I am learning that all problems resolve themselves. When you have a problem, a desire exudes forth from you, and Source hears it and answers it immediately. Once you remove your attention from the problem, you then allow the solution. Give birth to the question and let it go, and allow for the answer to flow. Give birth to the question, let it go, and then the answer will flow. Also, look at that card with the Queen of Cups. That's such an ocean story right there. I love the visual. All problems resolve themselves. Maybe you just gotta bring up that there is a problem. You're the queen of emotions. You get to be aware that there is a problem. You get to bring it up. And you don't have to fix it. You're entitled to bring up problems that you see without having an answer. You don't have to wait to figure out an answer to let people know there's a problem. Maybe nobody ever saw there was a problem and they could get on it too. And even not in the physical world, you can even bring up that there are problems in just your awareness and make it known to Source, and things will start working out in this material way. Okay. So, yeah, maybe not complainer energy, but like, hey, someone's got to have some taste. Someone's got to have some discernment kind of energy. Let's go inward and look at that. Okay. I think that is where I'm going to leave y'all today. We know what's coming up, and if we don't, we'll find out. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for watching another lovely episode of Today's Weather Tonight with Cloud Hudson. I'll give you a little ASMR tidbit at the end. This has been another beautiful episode of Today's Weather Tonight. I'm so grateful for all of you. I love you so, so very much. And I'm so glad that I get to do this. Just really happy that no one's paying me to do this, but I just feel that the universe is giving me the resources and material to do it. So I'm going to, and I'm really glad that someone maybe like you gets to appreciate it. So thank you so much for appreciating this episode of Today's Weather Tonight. I appreciate you. I love you so much. Have a good evening, and I will see you probably when I get back from New York. Oh my God. Whoa. Okay. Here we go. All right. I love you all very much. Goodbye. Goodbye.